What's up, guys? Welcome to the All Time Podcast, the podcast of all time. Today, we're talking about locking in your 20s to help secure your own future and how being a young guy in your 20s actually just might be a superpower. So, for most people, especially young men, your 20s are a pretty rough period financially, mentally, and emotionally. You're still developing as a person. Your sense of self is still being formed during this period. But many people do gain some independence during this time. But with that does come a level of stress. But it's also when you're just really getting started financially. You're probably still in school or training, or you have been in the earlier half of your 20s. You're probably not making that much money, especially in the early half, and the dating market is absolutely cooked. That's definitely a struggle. But anyways, on to the main part. And just to preface, I am not a financial advisor. I am just a guy. Might not seem like it, but your 20s are a superpower as a man. Although society probably wants you to think otherwise, young men have an incredible amount of power, both potentially and in actuality. But with all that power and potential you have in your 20s, now is the time to lock in. One of the biggest advantages you have as a young man is time. In terms of investing, you have time in the market, and time in the market beats timing the market. I'm sure we've all heard that phrase. You have several decades to invest in assets that will appreciate steadily over time. It's not about getting rich quick or any kind of crazy schemes or things like that, or even giving off the appearance of being rich. I'll touch on that second point later on. You have time to learn a bunch of skills for jobs, investing, and making your own businesses. And on the flip side, you have time to fail. You have time to weather out bad markets. You have time to start, learn at, and fail at businesses. And in your 20s, especially in the early half of your 20s, you're probably not weighed down by a wife and kids. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You can fully commit to your interests and your endeavors. A serious relationship or marriage and kids do require a lot of time. It can definitely be worth it in the end, but that investment is required, which is fine. And this isn't an anti marriage or anti child rant by any means, but any honest married man will back me up when I say that the game changes when you get serious with someone and or have kids. You often can't just hold yourself up, lock in, and do whatever it takes to make your business grow, at least not in the same level or way that you could if you were just single or even just without kids. You'll have additional responsibilities and commitments, which is your duty as a husband and father. But with a wife and kids comes the need for stability. You can't do anything too risky that'll put your family in jeopardy. And let's just keep it a buck. It's expensive to have a wife and kids. Being a single man, you can stack so much money because you can live very, very frugally. I know some people do have frugal wives, but it's just not quite the same usually as just being a single man living frugally. I mean, you can really live a stripped down lifestyle as a young single man. You can have no decorations in your apartment, maybe one couch, desk in the corner with your computer, and that's it. Not to say that you have to do that, but it is something you could do without a problem if you were a young single man. And like I said, this is not any kind of anti marriage rant or anti child rant. It's just the game changes when you get married, and that's just a fact. So during this developmental period, it's so easy to fall into the typical traps that set so many people back. It is a very frustrating and uncertain time in general. You're not making the money you'd like to. You're not where you want to be, and things are even harder now. So, as a young guy, you feel unvalued, and there's pitfalls everywhere. It's critical that you don't fall into complete doomerism. It's really common these days, and I don't blame him for feeling that way. But you can acknowledge the problems that we have without becoming a complete hopeless doomer. Yes, Everything is expensive. The job market is cooked, absolutely. The dating market is a complete clown show. But there are opportunities out there if you take advantage. So, what you don't want to do is fall into these types of traps. Many people, unfortunately, they kind of get holed into these and they take a long time to get out of them, or sometimes they just never get out of them and they ruin their lives. It's so unfortunate. So, the first thing is drugs and alcohol. So, in addition to being awful for your health, we all know this, it's awful for your mind, and you're just running away from your reality and using substances as a getaway vehicle. This costs you both short term and long term in basically every way. It removes your drive because you're always able to have your addiction to fall back on for pleasure or for escape, and you hurt your own ability to feel real happiness. And the next pitfall is trying to appear wealthy or successful instead of actually being it. So, social media is a toxic cesspit of lies and unrealistic expectations. I hate to use the word toxic, but that's just really what it is. Everyone is putting on their best front, no matter how fake it is. New expensive cars, new houses, clothes, shoes, jewelry, traveling to exotic places. And it's okay to want to have nice things, but spending money you can't really afford to waste on impressing people on social media is just foolish. That 80K you financed on that depreciating vehicle could have went into the S&P 500. That money could have been working for you. So avoid wasting your precious time and money faking the appearance of wealth and success before you even actually have it yet. And another one is get rich quick schemes. The internet is completely infested with stupid get rich quick schemes. I'm sure you've seen people with the stupid open mouth, surprised face thumbnail on YouTube talking about a stock or crypto or some other investment that's going to explode and make you a millionaire overnight. I'm a little guilty of trying to get rich quick and definitely regret it. But these influencers and schemes, they're all just designed to take advantage of your impatience and your emotions. And I get it, it sucks. We don't want to wait, but it's much better to invest your time and money into something that'll actually give you consistent returns later on than some kind of get rich quick scheme that's just going to end up leaving you with less money than what you had when you started. All right, so just to sum things up, your 20s can be an absolute superpower for you if you play your cards right. They are a massive, massive advantage for you because you have time. Time is something nobody can buy. You can't get more of it. You have time in the market. You have time to let your assets appreciate. You have time to learn new skills. You have time to start businesses, grow businesses, fail at businesses, gain those skills. You're not too tied down with relationships or like a wife and children, things like that. You don't have too many commitments going on right now, so take advantage of it. You can fully commit to whatever you want, whatever business ventures you want, your investments. You can devote more of your paycheck towards that. But you got to make sure that you are not falling for many of the typical pitfalls and traps people unfortunately fall into during this time period because it is a very tumultuous time. You will be frustrated. You are going to want to just tap out or just lock yourself in a room, smoking weed and playing video games for the rest of your life or something. You just can't be doing that. You have to lock in, invest in yourself, your skills. Do business ventures. Think of a skill that you have or a skill that you'd like to have and see if you can turn that into a business or something that can make some kind of an income for you. Gain as many skills as possible while you have the time to do so. It can make you extremely valuable for an employer. I know many of us don't want to stay doing a 9 to 5 for a long time, but it'll help you get that value on the job marketplace. It can help you get promotions or hop jobs into a higher income bracket. It's definitely worth looking into. But anyways, I'm kind of rambling now, so I can go on and on about this kind of thing, but I'm just gonna end it here. Hopefully, y'all took something from this and will be taking your 20s seriously if you're in your 20s, or even if you're beyond your 20s. Still invest in yourself. That's all we can really do. So, with that said, this has been the All Time Podcast. Signing off.